up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, so let's recap and review Real Housewives of Miami. This is season 6. Okay, I think it's season 6, and we're going over episodes 5 through 7. We getting into it. We catching up. It's like I said, it's been a lot going on my side of town, but we catching up. So episode 5. So it opens up and we're at Marysol's house. We see her and her husband, getting their cockies. And we also see Marysol's arm in a sling. She got Chanel brooches on it. Pretty much we saw Marysol eat the ground when they were at the basketball charity event. And then we know Kiki hurt herself as well because Kiki comes over and she's shimmying in with a walker. And they sit down outside, and I guess in Marysol and her husband's I don't know if you would call that a pool room or like a guest house. Either way, it was a really nice room. What I will say is Adriana and Marysol's houses are really nice. They're not extremely large, but they're nice. And that's not any shade to anybody, because I would love to live in either lady's house. Like Marysol's pool with the pool house was nice. Like the vibe they have set is really nice. And I'm not even somebody that's in the ranches. My parents used to live in one, and I liked it, but I kind of like the upstairs, downstairs kind of feel. But I still like their homes, and I love Adriana's backyard. Her backyard is a vibe. So, like I said, Kiki is over Marysol's place, and they sit down and talk. They go back and forth about the word fraudulent. I feel like Kiki be playing into being this ditzy dumb chick, because in episode 7, and we gonna get there, the way her and Lisa was getting into it, Kiki was speaking real clearly. But then again, I have heard that some people who speak whose native language isn't English, when they get angry, it's easier for them to say what they want to say. Like, it's just like, because your mind doesn't make you think about it. It's just like you're mad, so you just spewing anything out. But they were going back and forth about the word fraudulent. But we find out that Kiki's kind of feeling some type of way about Larsa. She's like, when Larsa was single, me and her used to kick it all the time. Now that she got Marcus, I barely get a phone call. I got hurt, and everybody else in the group reached out to me and asked me if I was okay, except her. And I'm just kind of taken aback by that. And I at first I was like, Kiki, are you and Larsa really friends? But I do remember last season and the season prior, Larsa did a few interviews, and she spoke about how Kiki and her are like, she kept saying Kiki was my girl because her and Kiki would hang out outside of the show. Like, they would go clubbing together and, go out and be, hot girls, city girls and stuff. So I get where Kiki is coming from. I hate when girls do that, because I've had friendships where people that get into relationships and then they stop calling you and stop talking to you, but then when they break up with that person, all of a sudden, oh, we friends again? No. And it's not that hard, because I also have other friendships where people are in actually long-term relationships, and because they want to keep the relationship they have with me and with our other friend group, they reach out and they kick it with us. So really, I get where Kiki's coming from. Like, she feels shafted, and it makes sense. We then get this scene of Anthony, Nicole, Todd, and Alexia meeting up. They're at one of those culinary classes. It looks like they were making pizza, and it got awkward. Y'all, Todd ain't got no money. And I shouldn't laugh at it, but it's definitely given that Todd got some money troubles, or somebody tapped on Todd's shoulder and told him, you don't want it with Anthony. So what you need to do is apologize so y'all can move forward, because he's too humble and too, what's the word? Is it too humble, or is it like he's surrendered? So anytime you make a 9-minute apology video, something ain't right, bro. And it's definitely given that Todd, if they not having money trouble, it feels like maybe his connections called him and told him, like, we rock with Anthony and you need to get it together. You need to get it together. And I think Todd is trying to get it together. But while they're sitting down at the table and they're eating their pizza, Anthony lets Todd know that, like, yo, I thought it was a joke. Like, I didn't think you was serious, but then, my receptionist says you sent over chocolate and stuff. But he was like, I appreciate the apology. And then Alexia talks about, I'm going to the F cancer party. But she was like, I'm kind of uncomfortable that it's at Adriana's house. Like, I want to support Julia and Martina, but I don't really want to be around Adriana. And the thing about Adriana that annoys me, and we'll talk about it probably more in episode 7 and maybe 6, is that she wants people to give her sympathy and give her grace. The ladies like apologize. Like we end up seeing like Alexia and her had their, conversation. They talked. Alexia apologized. She apologized. Y'all were trying to move forward. But then 10 seconds later, you talking trash about the lady as you go into her new beginnings party. So it's like, it's not all of them bullying her, because next thing you know, we have a scene with Adriana and Julia where they're going to this clinic, and Adriana's in her confessional saying, I've been through a lot. I lost my brother. I lost my father. Alexia and Marysol are bullying me. They're not bullying you. They're not, in my opinion. Like, have they been mean to Adriana at times? Yes. But are they actively seeking out? Because to me, bullying means someone, when every time they get in your vicinity, they just ragging on you. They don't be ragging on Adriana unless Adriana does something. And they might have they slick comments about her, but they are not bullying her, in my opinion. But let me go back to the table with Todd, Anthony, Alexia, and Nicole. Basically, they want to make it anew, but they also, Nicole makes a statement where she was like, I don't really know what's going on. Like, they saying Todd didn't go to the New Beginnings parties because of the vibes. But then you got Alexia saying he didn't go to the New Beginnings because of Adriana. Either way, the truth is somewhere in the middle. And I agree with Nicole. Like, what's really going on? What's tea, Alexia? What's going on, Todd? What's going on? Girl, we didn't get this annoying, y'all. I don't know how, if anybody is really listening to Larsa and Marcus's podcast, they have to be using it for like white noise or brown noise, because in that little blurb that we got of them, I was like, this is boring. This is not funny. And I mean, it has to be people who are invested in their relationship that watch their podcast, because I'm like, Marcus, you getting a little touched, as the old people would say, because I'm like, he's like, yeah, I like everything about it. It's weird. You know what it's giving? It's giving childhood crush vibes. Like, Larsa's 48, Marcus is 31. But the way Marcus and Larsa speaks, you would think they were the same age, as well as the way Marcus looks at Larsa is like he got the head cheerleader and he was the nerdy little kid. Because I was just like, this conversation is stupid. This podcast is stupid. What are we trying to do? Because it's stupid. But I feel like maybe Marcus is kind of smart, because I just saw the trailer for, is it called Traitors? Yeah, the trailer for Traitors just came out. The game on Peacock that a lot of people like the first season. But this season they have Peppermint. Shout out to my girl Peppermint from RuPaul's Drag Race. She's on there. You have Phaedra, Sheree's on there. Tamara's on there. And then you got Larsa and Marcus is on there. So I mean, he working something. He getting his face out there. So, I mean, maybe he's smarter than what I think, but it's just like, who is really sitting down and listening to a podcast of him, though? So, I guess I skipped over. And no, because I was talking about Adriana. So, we see Adriana and Julia go to this. I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I don't know how medically safe this situation is with Adriana and had going on, because I didn't feel like it was safe. So pretty much she goes to this clinic. They give her a dose of ketamine that I guess is supposed to be like a hallucinogenic kind of drug. And like, they give her music, they give her like they blindfold her, and she's sitting there, and Adriana says this is supposed to help her really move forward, and like she got married, got a divorce, she's an empty nester, I think her son's in college now. Her dad passed away recently. So did her brother. And I just think, and then, her beef with the ladies, she's just going through a lot. So I guess they told her, like, you need to do 6 of these things to help alter your brain in a positive way where you can move forward. But the reason why I was like, I don't feel like this was safe is because next thing I feel like a medical professional should have been in there, not just Julia. Because Julia looked stressed out because Adriana at first was like giggling and like singing and saying that she felt floating. And then like the lady started having a breakdown. I think she saw her dad. She ended up saying like to her brother, why, like it should have been me to go. And then she started crying saying that she didn't get to say goodbye. So Julia got up to like, comfort her. Like I thought she was going to stop the process, but I guess she was like, no, let her go through it. But Julia starts crying, and I'm just like, I don't know if this is safe, because the nurse or the doctor comes in and she was like, how are you feeling? Girl, you should have been in the room with her at all times. You just pumped drugs into her system. What if she went into cardiac arrest? Because can't people die from too much ketamine? I feel like people can die from too much ketamine. I'm just like, I don't know about this. This don't feel right. So the next scene we get is of, I think it's Kiki, Lisa, Jody, or Jordy. No, I think it's Jody. Jody and Marcus and Larsa, they're getting on this really cool yacht, and it's the F1 race. So I know that's like that like really big race that happens around the world. It's like, I think it's like an international race. But like Lisa said, people normally only come down there to like party and hang out. So while they're there, Lisa lets it be known that she spoke to Gertie and told Gertie, and they do a flashback scene where it's Gertie, Adriana, and Lisa at some party, and she's like telling Gertie, I want to be there for you. I heard that you're having some medical problems. I want you to know that I want to be there for you. And Gertie is looking at Lisa like, what are you talking about? And then Lisa doesn't want to say who told her this information, but Gertie knows that it was Larsa. Now, I got to get on Lisa's neck, because why bring this up when you know it was supposed to be something private and Larsa told you, knowing that you weren't supposed to be told. And then when you bring it up to Gertie, when she asks you, you trying to beat around the bush. If you were going to say something, then you should have just been upfront about it. Like, I got why Gertie was frustrated. But a chop for Gertie talking about this was a test for Larsa. Girl, no. If you didn't want her to know that you had cancer, then you shouldn't have told her. I think that was Gertie's way of trying to like save face. I think she genuinely thought Larsa and her were moving into a good path, and it just wasn't that. Like, she got played. And y'all know I like Larsa, but Gertie has every right to be pissed with Larsa, because that was not your business to tell. Like, you crossed the line with that. Like, that's something very personal. And even if the lady didn't verbatim say, don't tell nobody, she told you that she wanted to tell the other ladies in her own way, in her own time. So to blurt that out is mad disrespectful. And like I said, Larsa crossed the line. So then we all see everyone get to Adriana's house. She's getting it ready for, the F cancer party. And the area actually looked nice. Everyone looked really pretty in their outfits. I think the only person's outfit I didn't like was Larsa's, because everybody else I feel like gave me something different that I didn't expect them to wear. Like, I liked Nicole in the black dress. I thought that was really nice on her. I even liked Gertie's outfit. Like what Julia said, that Gertie gave her like snowflake princess. Like, it gave that. The dress was really pretty. I even liked Alexia's dress. I think it was Larsa's outfit that I didn't really like. I like Kiki and even Adriana's and Julia's. So while they're there, you end up seeing Nicole, Alexia, Russell, and Gertie sitting on the couch. And Alexia was like, reaching out to Gertie. So I guess Alexia, after she got tea from probably Marysol, it reached out to Gertie and was like, hey, if you ever need anything, sending those texts like, if you need me, I'm here. And Gertie was like, I appreciate that, but I didn't. No. I think Gertie sent out a text to let all the ladies that know that she was, dealing with cancer. And Alexia lets it be known that she already knew. So then Nicole comes and Nicole sits down and Nicole lets us know that Larsa reached out to Gertie. And this is where I think the whole test comment shouldn't have been said, because now Larsa is like, does Gertie really have cancer? Because why are you testing me with cancer? Like, you don't test people with cancer, which I agree. Which I totally agree. I think Gertie should have just been honest in that moment and been like, see, this is why me and Larsa, our friendship will never be, because I confided in her because I thought we were going to walk in a new path. But to be like, I'm testing you. Now you have this whole situation where everyone's like, and Larsa is out of order too for calling Nicole and being like, I know you and Gertie are close, but girl, do she really got cancer? Because now I'm finding out that she tested me and I just need to know. And I think that's the issue, because I fault Larsa and then I don't fault her, because it's like, one, if you're somebody who's like, yeah, that's not something to play with, you would probably be curious to be like, yeah, like, girl, do you really got it? But the other part of me is like, well, I don't think Gertie would lie about that. And even if you did have doubts about it, you should take a book page out of Karen Huger's book. Just believe that it's true until you get evidence that it's not true, when they had the whole not cancer situation with Mia. But I don't think Gertie's that desperate. So Nicole is just kind of like having Gertie's back and being like, yeah, she crossed the line. Like, there was no need for her to like tell me or even question it. And she got where Gertie was coming from. Alexia was trying to stick up for Larsa and be like, no, she told us, but she told us because she wanted us to know so we could be there for you. That was none of y'all's business. That was none of y'all's business. So then the party continues, and then all the girls pull up. Gertie got an attitude when she see Larsa. They sit down, and then they all are talking about Lisa and Lenny. So I remember hearing about this, where the girlfriend or the mistress or whatever that girl want to be called, she had alluded and Lenny had alluded to the blogs that they thought that they thought Lisa bugged their car, and was like listening into the private conversations that Lenny and his lawyer was having, allegedly. And so everyone's like, I don't think Lisa would do that. But Kiki was like, girl, when you mad and you scorn, you do anything. And you can't put nothing past nobody nowadays. But I don't think Lisa, I don't know. I could see Lisa doing it, but I don't think she actually did it. So they're all like waiting on her, and they're like, is she gonna come? Because I guess they were like, they didn't know if she was coming, since that news came out about the whole like, now she's being like, she's in trouble, and Lenny saying that she's doing all this stuff. But while they're sitting there on the couches, Gertie says, let's not play the rumor game. Let's let it go. And Larsa was like, what did you say, Gertie? And she said, I said, let's not play that rumor game. And I'm not talking to you, Larsa. I said, oh, Gertie is upset. She's upset. She got a right to be mad. She has a right to be mad. And y'all know Gertie gets on my nerves. She gets on my nerves, but and y'all know I like Larsa, but you got to call a spade a spade. Like, it was none of Larsa's business, and she had no right to go around spreading that lady's medical diagnosis when she told you she wanted to tell the ladies in her own way. And then Larsa is getting herself into trouble because now people feel like Larsa got microaggressions against Gertie, because she said, Gertie, why are you so upset? Why are you so angry? And I was like, girl, you know why she angry. You know why she upset. I don't think Larsa is that way. I don't. I genuinely don't. But then again, you never really know, especially because she hung out with the Kardashians, and the Kardashians always have this tinge of superiority in them. So, you know, Larsa gives preference energy. Like, I'm the preference. She gives that. She definitely gives preference energy. But we will see. So let's move on to episode 6. All right, y'all, so let's get into episode 6. So episode 6 opens up. We're at Martina's F Cancer party, and Martina just arrives, and, you know, we see Adriana gets up on the stage to play the piano. Everyone is, like, having a good time. They vibing out to the classical music, and you can visibly see Julia is nervous, and then she actually gets up, and Martina is shocked. All the ladies are shocked as well, and she starts singing. Her singing was horrible. It was like nails on a chalkboard. Like, it was like when tires screech, and no, it's not tires, it's brakes screeching. But I was like, Nicole, Martina's face was like, she was so like surprised, and she looked genuinely happy that Julia did this for her. Like, she was like, oh my God, like, and I felt happy for her. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, oh. Your wife can't sing, but this was such a kind thing she did for you. I love it, girl. I love it. So she finishes singing. Everyone congratulates Julia. We then see Lisa pull up. And I forgot to mention this on the last episode when the ladies were all sitting down and then, we had Gertie and Larsa kind of getting into it, they were wondering where Lisa was. So I think Larsa ends up FaceTiming Lisa. And when she looks at the phone, Lisa is like, the cops are at the house. I'm still on my way to the party. They was like, the cops. So Lisa has just gotten there. We end up seeing Alexia, Larsa, and Lisa go to like the another side of the house, like a area that's more secluded than people in the party. And so Alexia and Larsa are asking Lisa, like, girl, what happened? Why was 50 at your house? Is it 50? I don't know, cause I'm thinking of Hawaii 50, but that's the police over there. Y'all know what I mean. So, they're asking her, like, Lisa, girl, what happened? And so Lisa explains that Lenny came into her room because they're all living in the house together. So I guess it's Lisa, Lenny, the mom, and the kids. I think the dad is still alive. Lenny's dad's still alive, but I'm not totally sure. But she was in her part of the bedroom. Said she was like half naked, trying to get ready for the party. Lenny came into the room, basically like bothering her. She was like, get out my room. This is my room. And he's like, this is not your house. It will never be your house. The kids are out in the hallway from what Lisa is saying. And then you got Lenny's mom, who's in the hallway basically saying that, like, you were never a good mother, and the new lady that he's with, she'll be a better mother than you. And so she's laughing in Lisa's face, and Lisa's getting upset, which that would make anybody upset, because it's like, girl, shut up. And so Lisa's like, girl, I will call the police on you because this is still my house. And so she calls the police. And you got Larsa and Alexia telling Lisa, like, girl, you need to leave. Like, at this point, you need to leave. And I actually agreed. I said, girl, it's time to leave. It's time to roll out, because it's real toxic and that environment is not safe for your kids. But Lisa is stubborn, and she just like, she feels that this is owed to her, that house is owed to her, and it's understandable. But she's like upset because she's like, I can't believe he doing me like this, and I can't believe his mom is doing me like this. And I'm like, girl, Lenny's mama is flaming hot garbage, and she's poor. She gonna go wherever she knows she gonna get her bread is buttered. Like, Lenny's mom gives very much, Lenny takes care of her life. And Lenny probably told her, if you don't side with me, girl, I will put you in a home and never speak to you again. So she got it together. She switched up, okay? So we end up seeing Julia and Martina talk. Like I said, Martina was so like happy, and we find out that when Julia missed Martina's last day of like her treatments, that she was actually practicing for the opera night. And so Martina was like, okay, like, because at first Martina was mad because she felt like Julia was only focusing on the party, but not understanding that she was focusing on the party because she wanted to do this beautiful gesture for her, which is sing opera to her. So we then see Gertie and Nicole come sit down with Lisa, Larsa, and Alexia. And they're trying to figure out, like, girl, are you okay? And so while she's sitting down, I think Nicole asks Gertie, like, girl, are you okay? Because you kind of look annoyed, like you seem annoyed. So then Lisa speaks up and she was like, well, I know we all going through stuff. Like, Gertie, your situation, and like, we're all trying to be there for each other. And then that's when it segues into Gertie being pissed and pretty much being like, that was not your right to do, Larsa. And Larsa's like, Gertie, what do you mean? I did that because I care about you. Because I care. I said, Larsa, no, you did that. You did that because you just wanted to. And you wanted to be messy. And so Gertie's like, no, like, that was not for you to share it. And Larsa's like, you were going to share it with the ladies anyway. She was like, but I had a right to share it. So then Lisa chimes in, and Lisa's like, Gertie, like, I like, for real, I think she did it because she cares about you. And Alexia is trying to back up Lisa. And Gertie's like, no, like, girl. And then Nicole jumps in and she's like, well, and I was like, and Nicole says, like, you even were questioning if she really had cancer. And Larsa was like, yeah, because you wanted to test me. And Gertie was like, yeah, because I wanted to see if you were trustworthy. And Larsa said something like, you're welcome. I said, that's when you would have got smacked. I ain't gonna lie, I would have popped you in the mouth if I was Gertie. But I will say, I stand by what I said in the last episode. I think Gertie is using, like, I tested her to save face, because in all reality, girl, you didn't need to test nobody. That's some real sensitive information that you don't use against somebody. You test somebody with something that's not serious, like, oh, my son's turtle died. Like, Russell lost his job type stuff. Stuff that's like not true, but you don't do actual personal stuff, girl. That's wild. So I get where I get where Larsa was like, why, that's weird. Why would you test me? But Larsa just needs to take ownership that, like, she crossed the line, because that is something you don't share unless someone tells you it's okay to share. So Larsa gets up saying that she not arguing with Gertie no more. And Marcus follows her into the house. Gertie is pissed because she's like, why can't y'all just tell your friend that she messed up? And she's like, I want to leave. And everyone's like, Gertie, like, no. And then Lisa is upset because she feels like Gertie is going off on her. And I was like, well, yeah, Lisa, because, girl, like Gertie said, had we said some slick stuff about you and Lenny, you'd be pissed. And, girl, you definitely would be pissed. So they have a right to be upset. She has a right to be angry and upset and expect an apology from Larsa. So Gertie ends up leaving. Her and Russell ends up leaving. Julia ends up meeting her at the door and telling her she has a right to be upset, which she does. Because, like, girl, you crossed the line, Larsa. You crossed the line. We then see this scene of Larsa, Adriana, and what's her name? And Lisa meeting up with a realtor. That house, that condo was everything. That condo was $7 million. It was $6.9 million. I think it was like, how many bedrooms? 3 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. Like, the guy who's the realtor, I think he said, you can go to the pool, the gym, and somewhere else without really having to, like, leave, like, your part of the condo area. I said, girl, and the view was beautiful. But I will say, Larsa telling Lisa you might need to find something that is more affordable, I got what she meant. Because even though $6 million is like, because I think Adriana said in Miami that's not a lot, but for Lisa to do it on her own, it is. So I think Larsa was like, let's look at something that's like $2 million, maybe 3, but 6 to 7, I don't know. That's in your tax bracket right about now, ma'am. So they end up talking about what happened between Larsa and Gertie. Larsa, like Adriana said, is making this whole situation about herself, and it's not about her. And Lisa kind of annoyed me because Lisa was like, yeah, like, because Larsa was like, yeah, she was really upset with me, really angry. And then Lisa was like, she was angry with me too. And Adriana said, I told her don't shoot the messenger when it came to you, but she's really more so mad at Larsa because this was a private matter and you did this. And Larsa was like, because I care, because I wanted people to care about her. Larsa, that makes no sense. That makes no sense. Even if you thought by sharing her information, it would have the girls rally around her, she still made it pretty plain and simple that she didn't want you to tell. She wanted to tell the ladies in her own way. So you robbed her of that. No amount of you caring about her, you wanting her to know that you care, it doesn't cancel each other out. You sound stupid. You sound stupid. So we then get this scene of, you know what? I'll go to this scene. We end up seeing this scene with Marysol, Kiki, and Gertie, where they're trying to catch Marysol up on what happened. They're like at this really nice bar, trying to catch Marysol up on what happened between Gertie and Larsa. And Gertie ends up getting emotional because she was like, that was nothing she needed to like share because Marysol said she had like a medical procedure. That's why she didn't come to the cancer party. And Gertie was like, just how your medical history or your procedure is your business. My medical history and stuff is my business. And Gertie is just like, I trusted her. Like, I wanted this to be like a clean slate, and she like screwed me over. And she starts to get emotional. And the way Marysol grabbed her hand and was like rubbing on her face, like, girl, don't cry. Like, you don't need this stress. Even Kiki was like, you don't need this type of stress. You're about to like have your procedure. You don't need this stress. And Kiki even said that Larsa owes Gertie an apology, because what Larsa did, even that's how you know you wrong. Because even your friend who like claims to be your ride or die even was like, yeah, girl, you messed up. Like, you're wrong. You were wrong for what you did. You were really wrong for what you did. So we end up seeing this scene of, what's it called? I think it was Nicole, Alexia, and Julia at like this farm. It was a really nice vibe. They were like picking sunflower seeds, and then they end up sitting down at this table to like eat. And Lexia's talking to Julia and saying how happy she was to be invited to the party, that she enjoyed being at the party. She actually was happy to see Adriana, and that she was actually impressed with her singing the opera. And then they get on the conversation about Lisa and Lenny, and she was like, yeah, Alexia and Larsa were really like, girl, it's time for you to leave that house. Like, it's getting dangerous. You need to leave. And Alexia was saying how she just wants Lisa to leave the house. But then when she like was saying that, Lisa ends up calling Alexia. So Alexia has her own speaker, and Lisa ends up inviting them to Palm Beach. And they told her, they say, if we going to Palm Beach to relax, I need one favor from you. Don't bring up Lenny. And she giggles, but the way Lisa giggled was very much that like that cute little meme of that girl that goes, ah, ha, ha, ha. Yeah. It gave very much a like, okay, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So, we think while they're sitting down at the table, I think Julia says she wanted to room with Alexia. Alexia makes this comment where she's like, oh, I got to make sure my husband is okay with that. And at first it was like a jokey joke, but she was like, yeah, I got to make sure my husband's okay with that. We then get another scene where it was Alexia and Julia down at like, I guess a boutique getting outfits for not Palm Springs, but Palm Beach. They only going to be there for 2 days. So I was like, what are y'all buying? But Julia said how excited she was that they were going to be spending time together or sharing a room together. And Alexia makes the same comment about like, oh, I gotta ask mommy and Todd about it. And I guess it rubbed Julia the wrong way, because she's like, would you have to ask Todd about sleeping in the room with Marysol? And Julia's feeling like, are you trying to ask, or do you feel like you have to ask your husband because I'm a lesbian? And she's like, I'm a married woman too. Like, I'm not going to jeopardize my marriage to mess with you. And I mean, I got why Julia feels some type of way. Because it's like, yeah, girl, why do you need to ask your man to room with me? But then again, we don't know if he be asking for her, like, if she be asking if she can room with Marysol. Who knows? Time for everybody to go to Palm Beach. We see them all meeting up at Jordy's house and, getting ready. I will say, Marysol's confessional, this red ensemble, I said, she looks so youthful and fresh. Girl, not drinking them cocktails. It's doing something for my girl. The skin is clearing up and I like it. So we see everybody pile into these, I think either they were Rolls Royces or Bentleys. I think they were Rolls Royces. But we have the girls in 3 cars. You have Nicole, Kiki, and Adriana in one car. I probably would have wanted to be in their car, because they started playing Adriana's song and they was all dancing and having a good time. Everybody has the same consensus about Lisa and Lenny. They're like, well, I'm glad that Lisa wants to come down to this place and it doesn't have anything to do about Lenny, because we find out that Lisa wants to take the girls to Palm Beach because I guess she wants to celebrate the fact that she is going to be launching a new perfume, and it has nothing to do with, like, Lenny's not attached to it. This is like her own business venture. So like I said, it's 3 cars. I probably would want to be in Nicole, Kiki's, and Adriana's car, because they was dancing and singing her song and the vibe was vibing. You then had Alexia, Julia, and Larsa in the car together, and they like, girl, is this Lenny's car? And she was like, no, I don't think it's his car. And they started like singing opera in the car. They were having a good time. And then the last car was Lisa, Marysol, and Gertie. And honestly, Gertie and Marysol was telling Lisa right, because Lisa was talking about Lenny. We found out that the car that they driving is Lenny's car. Then Marysol gonna be like, girl, it might be Austrian jizz in this car. Okay, like there might be stuff around because he might have done some things in his car with that girl. I don't know. I giggled. I'm not gonna lie because I said, "Girl," but pretty much, um, Gertie and Marysol basically tell Lisa, you got to stop telling Jordy all your business about this man. And Lisa's like, what do you mean? And Gertie says, Jordy kind of reminds me of Russell. Russell is very patient and very kind, but I think he would get tired of me always referencing my ex-husband. My ex-husband this, my ex-husband that, my ex-husband this. And Marysol's like, yes, Jordy is patient, but you don't want to take advantage of that patientness. I said patientness. And it's like, you're taking advantage of him because you're constantly bringing up your ex. And I don't know how Jordy do it, because after a while, I'd be like, Lisa, you're still in love with him. And I mean, I get it. You trying to work through this, but I don't want to constantly hear about your man. Is Lisa in therapy? I don't know. Like, I hope she in therapy. She need to be in therapy for her sake and them kids. And they end up making it to Palm Beach. They all picked their rooms. But before they got there, we have a scene of all the girls reading about what happened between Lenny and Lisa by way of, it looks like a page 6 article to me, but it doesn't say it. But basically, it says Lisa Hutchinson verbally assaults, shoves Lenny in a hostile tirade at their $10 million home, documents say. So I guess Lenny filed a motion against Lisa, saying that she was the one who started the issue. And they're reading the article and they're saying that Lisa was the one that allegedly pushed him, that he was only coming into the bedroom to get his mail, and she freaked out. But I was like, that doesn't make sense, because why is the mail in the bedroom and not in the kitchen? Because normally when people bring their mail in, they take it straight to the kitchen. They don't take it to their bedroom unless it's like private documents. But then again, I don't think Lenny would want anything private around Lisa. It's just a mess. At this point, it's a mess. And I'm with everybody else. I'm tired of hearing about Lenny, girl. I really need you to go to therapy, Lisa. Go to therapy. All right, y'all. So episode 8. Episode 8 was really good, and it opens up and we're in Palm Beach. It's a lovely home. Like last episode, we already knew they were down in Palm Beach, but this time they give us like a aerial shot of the house. It was gorgeous. Like the house is right beside the water. They have a nice sized pool. It's just really nice. So it opens up and Lisa pretty much tells the girls, we're going to do a scavenger hunt, and people get into groups. So group 1, I think, was Nicole, Alexia, and Marysol. Nicole was like, she don't know if she need to be in a group with them, especially after, how Marysol and Alexia ain't really seeing it. Had like in the past 2 years, they really didn't see it for Nicole, but it seems like they're turning over a new leaf. Then you have Kiki, Larsa, and Lisa together. And then it's Gertie, Julia, and Adriana. And she gave them the Polaroid camcorders. I actually have one of those. Mine, I think, is, if I remember, I don't use it as much, and I should, because I got like film for it, but it's like a like light green kind of color, kind of like seafoam green. I really like it. It's just like I just haven't had anything to like take pictures of. But pretty much they're running around. They had to like take shots and then take pictures of themselves doing shots. They had to do like a lap dance. Then they had to find somebody's like lip gloss, a tampon, and something else in somebody else's room. They go into Kiki's room. They found an orange dildo. I said, Kiki. And like Nicole said, girl, you only gonna be gone for like 2 days. You really can't not touch yourself for 2 days. They did like a nude shot. Marysol took a little boob out and did a pose. Like, it was actually fun. And normally I think the games that they play on Housewives is stupid, but this game was like, oh, this looks like something fun. Like they had to do like animal poses. I was like, I think in order for games like this to be fun, you have to have groups that are willing to play and not be lame. So I was like, this looks like a lot of fun, and I enjoyed watching them like run around the house and have a good time. So Nicole, Marysol, and Alexia ended up winning. They had the most Polaroids, and everyone was like surprised. And while they're about to like sit down before they get ready to go out to dinner, Marysol asks Nicole like, hey, can we go outside and talk for a quick minute? Now, y'all know I don't really be seeing it for Nicole, but I can admit that my girl Marysol has been riding Nicole's back for 2 years, okay? But Marysol actually apologizes to Nicole, and I was like happy because it's like at some point, like in the beginning, when they came back for season 4, I kind of got where Marysol was coming from. Like, Nicole's new to this group, girl, you've been talking slick, and I believe Nicole and Anthony talk trash about the ladies because they have very condescending attitudes. I got it. But then to say that whole rumor about her sleeping around with somebody, I was like, girl, that was a bit much. Like, don't jeopardize this lady's career that she worked so hard for. So I was glad that Marysol was able to admit that she had been shitty towards Nicole for 2 years. And Nicole received it. And Marysol was like, girl, well, don't accept the apology so quickly. Like, you can make me work for it. You can. And Nicole was like, I feel like because of, her situation with her dad and being angry at him, she was like, I feel like I held on to a lot of things that didn't serve me, that left me lacking in life, that I don't want to hold on to anything. And they drank together and they hugged and giggled because Nicole was like, she wanted to like Marysol. Like, she was like, because you're funny, but I didn't want to, you know what I mean? She was like, but I ain't want to laugh at you because you was being rude to me. Which makes sense. So we then see all the girls get ready to go to dinner. They pop up into the Sprinter. And while they're on the Sprinter, I think Adriana was the one that asked, like, hey guys, what have you ever been with a man that had like a fetish? And we found out that Alexia hates feet, but I was like, but you have a nail bar. Like, you do manicures and pedicures, girl. Like, what do you mean you hate feet? Then I think Kiki said some dude like to like lick her butt or something. And then Nicole talked about how she went on a date with some guy, and I guess he was in the feet, and he took her pump or her heel, poured champagne in it, and drank out of it. And she was like, I was mad because he messed up my shoe. I said, girl, I've been mad too. Like, why would I want to walk with a wet shoe around town? Like, what? And they were all giggling. And then they finally get to the restaurant. They do like a cheers about like coming down on the vacation, everyone having a good time, and like it being like a reset for the group. And then Marysol takes it upon herself to be like, on that note, Lisa, I think that me and Adriana need to figure our things out. So Adriana, I think, was prepared for Marysol to get at her neck. But Marysol actually apologized. She said, last time we were on the Sprinter, I said some things I shouldn't have. And I don't like that because that's not me. And I want to apologize to you for that. And I want to move on from it. And then they both admitted that they do this like tit for tat kind of thing. And like they're like very bullheaded when it comes to each other. But they have a lot of history and they wanted to be like water under the bridge. Now, while this is going on, Julia is side-eyeing it because she doesn't like Marysol. Like, she keeps acting like she wants to like Marysol, but she doesn't like Marysol. We find out that Julia is friends with Marysol's ex that she was in a toxic relationship with. And Julia thinks that he is the bee's knees. Like, he's a perfect, she feels like Marysol was the one that was the toxic one in the relationship. But pretty much, Julia says that Marysol is the one that keeps the stuff going in the group. I don't agree with that. I think Marysol is a part of that, yes, but I think Adriana does it too. Like, they will try to let things go with Adriana. Like, that whole fight that happened on the Sprinter, that didn't need to happen on the Sprinter. They were in the bathroom. They weren't even talking about Adriana in like a horrible way. They were just like, ugh, like, her farting on the bus is too much. That's I don't want to be on that. And she took it back as them bullying her. Like, Adriana likes to be in the mess and likes to play a perpetual victim when it comes to Marysol and Alexia. And Julia just wants to believe that it's all Marysol. And I'm like, if you're going to try to hold Marysol accountable, you need to hold your friend accountable too. So then we find out that Julia said that she found out that someone was but when they were, before all of them were supposed to be on this show, that Marysol was looking for information to dig up on Adriana, and Marysol was like, no, I wasn't. And who did you hear that from? And she was like, my friend. And the fact that Marysol off rip knew that it was her ex tells me that the ex is also scarred. Like, so here's the thing. I think it was a very toxic relationship, and I don't think Marysol's whole situation with that man was one-sided. Um, I also feel like I would look at Julia funny too, because I was like, you over here befriending my ex. Would you like if I befriended your exes? Like, and we supposed to be in a group together? Like, it's funny. It is funny. But pretty much, they go back and forth at the table. You got Alexia throwing Marysol underneath the bus because I think Julia brings up the whole situation with the guy and the marriage license last season. My thing is, like, it was clear that Marysol was the one that told Alexia, but Marysol didn't tell Alexia to bring it to the show. Alexia brought it to the show and then was too prideful to admit that she was wrong and apologize. So Alexia throws Marysol underneath the bus, saying, like, when things get tough. No, that was Larsa, because Larsa chimed in and brought up the whole phone thing with Nicole, and they're all going back and forth. I will give Marysol this. She held her own while they was all coming at her. Then Lisa chimes in and talks about how, what's it called? How, like, we all heard about somebody, a private investigator, I guess when they were in New York for the reunion, and Marysol was like, I ain't got too much. I'm not that calculated. I'm not that nasty. I'm not doing all of that. I'm not trying to figure out nothing about none of you broads like that. And I really don't believe that Marysol has a private investigator. I think that Marysol's family was heavily connected because Mama Elsa has been in Miami when Miami wasn't even the Miami it is now. And she was beautiful back then. That lady got connects. And I think also Marysol used to be a publicist down in Miami. So people probably tell her stuff every day that she don't even got to go looking for it like that. So I think it's kind of far-fetched to me that they believe Marysol did it. But everyone was like, they were saying that she was the one that did it. And I'm like, if y'all really believe she was the one that had a private investigator, why didn't y'all call her out on it last season? So Marysol is kind of getting annoyed with everybody, especially Julia, because she makes this reference by saying Julia is like that last hair on your on your vagina, just hanging on to one of your pubes for dear life. She's like, girl, leave me alone. So they end up talking about, so because Marysol knows that Julia is referring to her ex, she ends up saying, like, why are you, don't bring up my ex? And then Julia was like, I didn't bring up your ex, you did. And granted, she did, but girl, if she knew the man that you're talking about is her ex, I was like, she could tell you don't bring up my ex. But Marysol basically was like, that was a toxic relationship. Don't bring him up. Then Lisa, making everyone do the biggest eye roll, brings up underneath her breath, like, yeah, if one of y'all was hanging out with Lenny, I wouldn't be happy. And you could tell that the mood in the room shifted because everyone's like, girl, how many times we gonna hear about Lenny? You got Gertie in the confessional talking about, I'm gonna pull out my eyelids. Kiki's like, Lisa will make everything about Lenny. Like, I could say I have, what's it called? A vaginal infection, and she gonna say, oh no, she said a yeast infection. She gonna say, I could have a yeast infection, and then she would bring up how Lenny got a yeast infection, or the girl that Lenny messing with got a yeast infection. She was just like, everything circles back to Lenny. And then Kiki just gets over it, and she's like, Lisa, how many times we gonna have to hear about Lenny? Like, it's like 10% you talk about Jody, the other 90% is Lenny. She was like, I can make a song out of how much you speak about Lenny. And Marysol laughing at the table, and honestly, everyone at the table is like, yeah, girl, we sick of hearing about Lenny. And Kiki cleared Lisa because Lisa was like, who are you to talk about my life? She was like, you talk about it with us all the time, and I'm your friend, and I just want you to get past it because at this point, all you do is talk about him. And then everyone's like, y'all, let's calm down. Marysol ends up saying, like, let's wave the white flag because Gertie was trying to get Kiki to chill out a little bit. And I think Larsa was trying to get Lisa to chill out because Larsa also agrees that Lisa talks about Lenny too dang much. So when Marysol gets up, like, waving the white flag, she decides, like, everyone kind of disperses from the table. You got Nicole, Marysol, and Kiki in the bathroom together. And then while that's happening, Larsa switches seats with Lisa to talk to Gertie. And then Lisa is down at the end of the table with Julia, Alexia, and Adriana crying about her situation, saying that this is her life and like I'm in the thick of it and like I'm just going through so much. While that's happening, you see Larsa trying to have a conversation with Gertie where she pretty much is trying to apologize. And Gertie kind of wasn't letting her apologize. I was like, sometimes Gertie just needs to be quiet and let somebody finish their thought. But I understand that she's frustrated by Larsa. Larsa pretty much is like, I didn't come from a bad place. I really care about you. Like when you told me you had cancer, like I was devastated and I was just sharing. And it's kind of like if Larsa would just say, hey, I know I'm wrong for sharing this information, but I thought that like telling everybody about it so you didn't have to say anything, that we could all rally behind you and be there for you, but that was my bad. But Larsa, I keep saying Lisa, my bad, y'all, but Larsa lacks humility and her ego's too big that she just can't concede and just be like, you know what, I was dead ass wrong, my bad, bro, and back up off of it. Because Gertie is like, yeah, I accept the apology, but me and her ain't gonna never be the same again. So Gertie pretty much is like, I don't really want to fight with you, Larsa. And then she brings up Lisa and she was like, look at Lisa, look at me. Like she going through so much. And Lisa crying at the table, like, I don't want to be like this. I don't want to be like this. And I was like, well, Lisa, if you don't want to be like this, then sis, you have to. And it's hard, like, because it's hard. It's hard to move forward sometimes, especially when you didn't think this would be the way your life would end up. So I understand her frustrations. So they get home. It's the next day, and we see Julia and Adriana talking about Marysol. Pretty much saying Marysol's ex said that, you know, he was scarred and traumatized by being in a relationship with her, that, like, she hacked his computer and she was following him and his girlfriend. We then find out that Leo Black said that Marysol and her would go to, like, I guess the local, you know, witch of the, you know, the witch doctor in their neighborhood, and that the same guy said that Marysol brought a picture of Adriana to the witch doctor and said she wanted Adriana dead. I don't know about the whole dead part, but I was in Spaces and someone did bring up a good point. Y'all know I really liked and loved me some Mama Elsa, but Mama Elsa, that I feel like dabbled in that, you know, that spiritual realm, and Marysol probably know too, because I remember when Marysol came over to her house and she was like throwing rice at Marysol and like touching her crystals and stuff. I feel like that lady was tapped into something. So I can see Marysol still being low-key. That would make sense why Marysol didn't want all that energy around her when Julia gave her them rocks and she threw it out the window because she was like, bad vibes, bro. Maybe she could sense it. I don't know. But I believe a part of it. I mean, because one of my mutuals was like, well, maybe the man wasn't lying. Maybe Adriana didn't die, but she broke. Maybe that's her death, because that's worse than anything. I don't know. So we see the rest of the ladies on the inside of the house eating. Lisa's being passive aggressive with Kiki, yelling good morning to her like 4 times while she said good morning once to everybody else. And Kiki is in her confessional like, Lisa, don't try me, girl. What Kiki said was right to Lisa. Like, girl, it's time to move on and move forward so you can live the life that you want to live. So we all know that Lisa brought the ladies to Palm Beach because she's doing Aroma 360, where I guess they're going to make a fragrance for her and she's going to be the face of it, or they're going to make a fragrance and she's going to be the face of it. So she decides that she doesn't want all the ladies to come. So she brings Adriana and Nicole, and then the rest of the ladies go play croquet. We see the rest of the ladies get into these vintage cars, and, you know, Alexia saying that they remind her of Cuba because they are like, they give like 1950s, 1940s types cars. But the car that half the girls were in, I think it had Kiki, Marysol, and the rest of the, like, there was one car that was blue and one car that was red. The car that was red broke down on the road while they was on the highway, and the rest of the ladies had to pile in on the car that was in front of them to get to the croquet place. So they get to the croquet place. We then have the rest of the, you know, Lisa, Nicole and Adriana doing their going to smell the different fragrances for Lisa's perfume. Lisa, I felt like was being too picky because but I get it. If your face is on it, you don't want to put nothing bad out there that stank, and it's synonymous with your name, so that's understandable. But Lisa pretty much almost has a breakdown because Nicole asks Lisa like, "Hey, when will you feel like this chapter is closed in your life and you can move on?" And Lisa started crying about how she ain't never thought this would happen, and she was like, "When I give up my anger and my resentment to Lenny." And it's like, yeah, girl. I mean, I've been there. I've been there where it's like every time you think about a situation, you get emotional and you start crying, and it's just like, it's hard. And I know her face has to hurt because it's stuck, but also like the skin around your eyes from rubbing your eyes and stuff. So I understand, but it's just like, Lisa, you got to move on, sis. Especially if it's not for you, it definitely has to be for them kids. So we get back to the croquet place, and they're sitting down at the table eating. Marysol makes a like a joke about she feels like they're too young for this group. And I say, Marysol, as much as I love you, girl, you about the same age as all the men playing croquet. Don't play. But I think she was just trying to be funny, but nobody got it. Larsa had a little attitude about it, and I was like, Larsa, get over yourself. But while they're sitting there, what's it called? Marysol gets a ding on her phone, like a Google Docs alert or a Google newsletter alert. And it's an article about Lenny. And basically the article said, let me pull it up. It says Lenny Hutchinson claims ex Lisa is bleeding him out financially and charged $10,000 to his Instacart account in 1 month as the pair's contentious divorce rambles on. Then Larsa is, girl, Lisa need to watch Larsa, because Larsa lets it be known that Jody is also like, Lisa's also paying for like groceries for Jody off of Lenny's money. She also didn't go with Lisa to the aroma place, and she wanted Lisa wanted Larsa to come because they're supposed to be BFFs. And Larsa was like, I probably have more fun at croquet, so that's where I'm going. But in all honesty, what are you spending? Groceries are not $10,000, sis. They're not, even though they're high as hell. I know as me, as a single woman, I can probably spend like maybe $150 or $200 on groceries, and those groceries will last me for at least 3 weeks to a month if I buy the correct things and I'm not just grabbing things that I think I want to eat. So it's a family of 3. I can see, like Larsa said, because Larsa was like, I got 4 kids and it's me, and she spends $500. I can see Lisa spending at least like $300 to $400 on groceries. Like, you got 2 kids, like they probably eat a whole bunch. But girl, $10,000, I really do hope that you are spending, like, you siphoning off that money and saving it for a rainy day. Because Larsa ends up bringing up that like Lisa's going to have to live differently, because she was like, I had to live differently and learn to live differently. And it's like, yeah, because then we can see a flashback of Jody even telling Lisa, like, you need to find a house that you can afford, maybe $3 to $6 million. I said she need to find a house that's probably between maybe $800,000 to like $2 million, because what does Lisa do? I'm trying to figure out how much money do they make off of being on this show, and because this seems like to be her only sole income, and it also doesn't seem like Lisa is doing like influencing gigs. So it's like, you need to live within your means, because Lenny ain't trying to give you nothing. Also, I don't understand how you were married to somebody for 15 years and you never like stashed money away. Like, I tell y'all this all the time. There's nothing wrong with wanting to live that soft life, but you should always have a private account. Even if you don't want an account, put that money underneath at your grandma's house, underneath the bed somewhere that man don't know about. So when it get real, you can dip out. But the ladies are trying to figure out how they can speak to Lisa, because every time they talk to Lisa about Lenny, she gets defensive. So they're trying to find out what's the best way to communicate to her that she can't keep living living her life the way she's living it now. Well, y'all, that is it. And if you made it this far, you a real one. So as always, remember to be bravely authentic. Hop down in them comments below. Subscribe and give me a thumbs up if you liked the video. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.